Alrighty. And yes, we're all, oh my God, it's all off.
Yes.
Son of a
Terrained
brewski.
professionals. Holy cow.
Unbelievable. I'm not Matt. Hey.
We're
Dan,
trained freaking professionals. I don't know what happened here. So
Danny, your beard is not nearly as brown.
I reset that earlier. It was all right.
It's last call. They're here to listen to us bitch about stuff.
Here
Last
we live.
call, where the loose get looser.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm deep in the point. I got to turn my camera to show up more in the middle here.
So bear with
all
me,
right, folks. Welcome to last call, where clearly our producer has had a couple too many Pepsis.
And where clearly last call should have been called a while ago.
We are talking this week about the new Wildemount book announced by Wizards of the Coast last week, I believe, and it's drummed up a little bit of controversy already, as you know, virtually everything in the gaming industry seems to do these days.
What?
Yeah, that's true.
It's nuts. It's the nuttiest nuts.
He even wrote a letter about it.
He did. I've got it pulled up right here. Actually, he's got a letter. What did he say? As the info seemed to leak a little early yesterday, I just wanted to write something to reach out to the greater non-critter. I don't know what that means. D&D crowd regarding this book, what it means to me, and what I hope it means to you. And then it's actually a pretty lengthy letter, which I won't read. You can look it up. It's on. It's hosted on. I got it on nworld.org. But yeah, so it's causing a little bit of drama. I think. Before we get into the drama, let's talk about the book, or what we know about it a little bit. It's a second continent in his campaign setting. Is that right?
That's correct. Well, not a second continent. It's like a second area. There really is kind of only one big continent, as far as I remember from my Tal'Dorei book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, and therein lies the rub. And the controversy for our conversation this evening is the Tal'Dorei book that was originally produced by Green Ronin. I always pronounce it incorrectly, much like Cthulhu.
That was kind of funny.
just gonna do it anyway, aren't you?
What do you? Is it Green Ronin? Ronin, is that how you pronounce it? Ronin? Or,
yes.
I've always said Ronin, and then I heard oh god, one of the GR guys pronounce it Ronin, and I was like, is that on purpose? And sure enough, apparently that is the actual way it's supposed to be pronounced. Anyway, regardless, I digress.
Google says Ronin. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I've always said Ronin.
Yeah. It's pronounced. It's Ronin.
But you know what? If you own the company, you can pronounce it however you want.
Damn well wanna.
Right?
Green Ronin. I wonder if they say it that way because it rhymes, I suppose.
It's branding.
They might think they're culturally sensitive. Who knows?
Huh, okay. They produced the Tal'Dorei book, in 16 or 17?
I think it was 16. So no, maybe it was 17.
17, yeah. So Matt Mercer's world, they brought it to life, or brought it into hardback book in the Tal'Dorei, and I actually have it. It's pretty solid.
We run it on Wednesday nights.
Pretty solid book.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. And actually, I'm glad we talked about speaking of pronunciation. I was pronouncing it Tal'Dorei before, but Tal'Dorei, whatever. 2017, Green Ronin published the book, and then we get Wildemount announced by Wizards of the Coast a week ago. And then reports from Matt Mercer that he's been working on it for, quote, I've spent the better part of 1.5 years working on this project, along with some incredible contributors, to make this something we could all be extremely proud of. So that begs the question, is there an issue there? Is there a problem when he's under contract with Green Ronin? God, now I can't even not say it.
It's whatever you want it to
say.
Whatever.
Is there a problem when he's under contract for that very setting?
Necromancers.
Working necromancer books for for the big guys on the block. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Brian, as a publisher of content?
I must say, uh-oh.
So,
Here comes the soapbox.
I'm biased because, it's Critical Role. The guy's a great voice actor, very talented crew, very polished, slick show. But do they have the writing chops? That I don't know. I skimmed the book. I will 100% admit that I did not read it. My quick glance, it looked to me like it was Forgotten Realms with the serial numbers rubbed off on a lot of it.
I've heard that before, yeah.
But I didn't read it. I don't know if there's really some solid gold written in there, and I just didn't find it, So anybody who has read it, feel free to tell me I'm dumb and let us know what's great. I'm curious. I mean, I've got, I would love to know what the 2-sentence pitch of that campaign setting is, because what I know about it is it's by Critical Role, and that's why
Mercer
people
wrote it.
Okay. Can I jump in real quick, Matt?
Please.
As potentially the only person who was a longtime critter for the first campaign, I've since fallen away, full disclosure. I think where this conversation pretty much starts is they started a thing, it blew up, they finally wanted to make a book, they didn't know how big they were going to be.
Uh-huh.
They found a publisher who was willing to take the risk because assumably Wizard said pass, because they probably say pass to a lot of people with a bigger potential audience than even Critical Role had at that time.
Right.
And then 18 months later, it was just a better deal to do it with somebody else, not because the product would be better, because I'll tell you what, Green Ronin's product is fucking awesome.
It's solid. Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah.
It's illustrated beautifully. It's laid out in a super pro manner. Looks just like a WotC product.
Right.
So it was all about audience reach, and it was all about satisfying the fans. Now, adding into that, they're from California. They are involved in the entertainment business.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they make their money, not on this. They're not making their fortune on Critical Role. I mean,
Right.
Hopefully they get another gig with a big production house and they get their voice put in more video games. That's where they'll make their money for the rest of their lives, probably. So they jump ship to a bigger thing, which is standard. And the problem is that okay? I say that's fine.
Free market.
It's a free market.
Free market.
And they basically they were too big for a Subaru, so now they moved up to a Mercedes.
I think the crux of the issue, though, is
He was under
was it
contract,
okay
though.
to be under contract with Green Ronin.
Yep. And one thing I failed to mention, so I guess the exclamation point on the initial, my initial rambling was that the license, the contract with Green Ronin expired the day before he announced, or the day, he announced it the day after, the day after his contract expired with Green Ronin.
Right.
And so that he's been working on it for a year and a half, when presumably, I can only imagine Green Ronin's wanting to, or was wanting to stay latched onto that.
When else could he have announced it would be my first question.
No. I mean, he could not have, I wouldn't think, have announced it before. I mean, I don't.
Question is, what do they think?
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be
What
nice
really
to
boils
hear.
down to, doesn't it?
It'd be nice to hear what Green Ronin's
Yeah.
response is,
Yeah.
but my suspicion is that is legally bound. Like, that's not going to happen.
How much other content of Critical Role has Green Ronin published?
I don't think any. I think that
Zero.
The
So
That was the first one.
that's
The
part
comic
of it,
book,
right?
the comic book was somebody else. I don't know who it was, because Matt Colville wrote that book. He wrote like 6 or 8 episodes of the comic, and I think that's the only other product they've made.
and they haven't. Is that Green Ronin, or is that Matt Mercer not producing content because he's working on something else for Wizards of the Coast?
Right.
Knowing that, hey, we did this thing, because I would think for sure, like, if I was that publisher and I had that IP, I'd be like, hey guys, we're gonna make some shit, right? We're gonna make I mean, why don't we have small PDFs? Like everybody would have bought the shit out of those, right?
It's statting the hell out of every episode.
I feel like there was a lack of exploitation of that IP. And that had to have either been because Mercer didn't want to or couldn't produce it or was willingly holding on to it.
Well,
I'm not sure he didn't produce the first one.
Yeah, the question is what's in his contract. This is bull.
Under your name, that means this guy wrote it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that's like a writing credit in a movie. You could see who wrote it, but then the guys all underneath it, they're the ones that really wrote it. Okay, sure. Yeah, and the same thing goes with this. What was his contract? Which is what it boiled down to. If he was under contract for them for any and all creativity, guess who owns that? It doesn't matter what if Mercer wrote it, but in this situation, I'd have to say, there's no legalities being shown up. He wrote it on the side, and he wasn't under contract to disclose it to him.
And in fairness, like I've had people submit things to me for publication, and I've said, look, it's great. I want to publish it. I might not get around to it anytime soon. And I've given them full ability to withdraw that submission and shop it to another publisher because I want them to get their amazing work of art out to the public. Yeah. Right.
But so tell from the mind of the lunatic, what causes you over there? What makes you pass on it? Because if it was Mercer who wanted to publish his next big thing, you'd move heaven and earth and push every other project out of the way.
Of course I would. Right. So, I mean, I don't want to.
We have no idea. I mean, this is all speculation.
I'll tell you this: in my many years of IT sales, I frequently. Not every year, but in 15 years of doing it, I did it 10 times. I went to one vendor and said, listen, man, I'm trying to climb the ladder, get to vendor number A. I need to get there. I need some experience. Would you throw me a project just so I can put it on my books? And I do that 2 or 3 times on my way up the ladder to try to get that bigger client. And a lot of people in the industry, knowing that I was pretty straight with them, I told them right off the bat, that's what I'm doing. I don't have legs with you. I need to get this account. So then they were like, hey, man, we get paid, you get paid, you move on. That's a sort of deal.
Scratch my back, you scratch mine, back and forth.
Yeah. Sure. And I think that especially people like out on the West Coast, not slamming LA or those folks, they know how to make a deal as well as anybody. I think that type of deal is much more commonplace there.
True.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Green Ronin could have had a first right of refusal on it, or something got sweetened in the pot and said, it's moving this way, but we're going to reciprocate on the back end, and we have no idea what that could be. So,
I wonder, too, if it has to do with the scale of careers. Like, when you go into the Hollywood unit, you have, like, I'm going to do this for 20 years, and only probably at 20 years am I going to get anywhere. Especially, like, directing and producing. I wonder if that time scale, but then publishers operate on a much different time.
Uh-oh.
So speaking of time,
sorry,
there's a wormhole.
Yep.
Are we good now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah.
Cool. So I wonder if those 2 time scales are a little different too. Like they're like, listen, we're trying to make this thing last 7 seasons. We're publishing a book with you. There's like a difference there. I don't know. I do feel it seems a little disloyal. Like I'm a Midwestern boy, so like I dance with the one I brought, even if like I've decided later that maybe that's not who I want to dance with all the time. But not everybody shares those values,
Right.
Sure. And it's not wrong not to,
Yep.
I suppose that's probably true. And he does go on in here to say, where was it? He does kind of downplay the Tal'Dorei book, and he says, even my Tal'Dorei guide homebrew was rushed due to some demands made of me, and I continue to learn so many lessons since. So that, I don't know, reading between the lines and some of this just kind of, it's just like you. I guess I'm the Midwest guy, just the loyalty factor. I would never personally do something like that. I would try and stick it out. And it sounds like there was, if you're reading between the lines in this letter that he penned, sounds like maybe there wasn't a match made in heaven with Green.
I think I would try to do that, but if it got egregious, I would say I've had enough. But
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't seem like it doesn't, nothing we know yet really says whether it was like some breach of their, you know what I mean? So if it was just like a casual, like, yeah, I made a book with you, but that don't mean shit, I'm going to do it somewhere else. Well, that's a dick move. But having
Oh, Danny. Someone clip that for me, please.
Screenshot,
Clip that
screenshot,
face
screenshot.
right now. That is Danny's new picture. Oh, I love it. Awesome. I've got this recorded. Yes. Oh, we've lost them, folks. Right in the middle of it.
And I will say to everybody that's watching, you're spot on. And I don't think, if I sound like I'm coming off pointing fingers, I'm not trying to say that there was anything wrong. This is last call. This is the scuttlebutt, right? This is the rumors that we're just trying to pull at the threads, I suppose.
Well, here's the thing. Like, oh, did you have more, Matt?
No,
ahead.
I'm good. I just keep laughing at Danny's face.
He just went
there
off.
it goes.
So.
It's last call.
Oh, no. That was priceless.
That was good.
That
I
was
did
good.
get a
That was
screenshot,
good.
though. But if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I've got this project," and I'm like, "Sweet, here's a contract. However, you can only publish your content. I'm licensing your IP for 3 years, whatever it is, right?" You're not under any obligation to hand over everything that you're doing, right? You just can't publish with someone else up until that point, which is
Sure.
exactly what he did. So
Exactly what he did.
we don't
Unless
know.
they had it in his contract that any creativity comes out of you belongs to us. Every
But I would
gamers
never
do it. You know,
no one signs such a deal, right?
they do all the time. And definitely in the IT side, a gamer, if you're a coder for a gamer, you have an NDA and you have said anything you create belongs to us in the story. So,
For sure.
Yeah. But who knows?
Yeah.
So I'll back up. Sorry. I don't know. Sorry, Brian.
No. You know what? It's just a different. It's a different industry with different values too. So we don't know if anything. I don't know.
Who knows? It's all face value. Those are just the numbers, the dates that we have available. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, so I thought it was a good topic for tonight. I mean, I certainly wouldn't.
You're not the only one that's rubbing the wrong way. Golly.
So to speak.
Social media was all giving him a squinty eye.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know nothing about nothing about it, so I can't, at least from the creative side. And you guys are much more in the know about the publishing. I mean, Brian, someone does.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's writing for you, and they go publish somewhere else, but they were writing that on your term. They're going to get Berg's ass.
That's true. but that's what the contract is for. You say, "Hey, I want you to write this product with this many words," and you hand them a contract, right? So if someone was to renege on that and then go publish that same product with someone else, I'd be like, "Ooh, that belongs to me."
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, the music industry. You contract a band. You have so many albums you're supposed to produce, and then you go and say, "Oh, you're game over if you try to take that album somewhere else." So,
and you got to think too, like if I guess Matt Mercer could get away with this if this was truly something bad, right? Chances are good it's not. But anyone else, like if Jimmy says he's going to write something for me and then completely bones me and runs to Matt and publishes with Matt, I'm going to say, "Hey, every other publisher, guess what just happened?"
don't talk. Yeah.
Because we all talk, right? We're all friends. It's not this cutthroat community,
Right.
So
Yeah.
the difference is just that Matt Mercer is not going to come beg me to publish any of his stuff, right? And if he's now at Wizards
$1
of
million
the
already.
right,
Show on Amazon, right? Isn't that where it's
Is
going?
it that's where it's going.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So the other thing that I know you'll get a kick out of, Brian, in his letter is that he constantly refers to the Tal'Dorei book as his original homebrew this, homebrew that, and now that Wizards of the Coast has published him, it's official.
If you're
No
getting
longer homebrew.
published, if you get to use that word published by a publisher, you are not homebrew.
Thank you. I knew you would get a kick out of that.
Gonna kill me.
So Tal'Dorei is homebrew, but Wildemount is not.
Homebrew trash, apparently.
ATT
All right.
outage for Danny. So he is offline.
Those ATT folks.
Well, we have a lovely clip from him now. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So
That's great.
it was perfect.
That was worth it. That was worth the last call right there by itself.
Hmm.
All right, I think we're out of time, but that was a great discussion, and I think it went exactly how I kind of felt it would. So, thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
All right.
Nice conversation.
We are hosted by, or we are sponsored this week, and for the next couple of weeks by Cobalt Press. They'll be on the show here in a couple of weeks discussing a couple weeks. When are we talking? February?
Uh-oh, Danny.
Okay.
He's back.
Danny and I are going to share a box now. Oh wait! Oh god!
We're all over the place, folks.
Wolfgang will be back on the show here in a couple weeks to talk monster development and what goes into creature creation. So we're looking forward to that. Cobalt Press, your sponsor for this show. Thanks, Wolfgang.
That would be the negative
right.
sponsorship right there.
Any parting shots, fellas, before we break?
No,
We're
this was
good,
super.
everybody. So come check if you write it down. February the 15th, if you want to see a loving unity of editions playing together under one umbrella, under the Greyhawk umbrella, then please come check out my channel, Wicked Studios. I just saw Nightheart Gaming. Frank's here. He's running show. Lord Gasumba and Castle Entertainment. There will be 5 shows, 4 hours of goodness to come watch across all different platforms. So, and it's all for St. Jude's. So we're looking
St. Jude's.
St. Jude's. So I think that's it. We're going to sign off, and we'll see everybody in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Oh wait! Tune in on Thursday as I sit down with artist Phil Stone, and we run our first show of Whose Monster Is It Anyway?
Oh,
Where you,
yes.
the crowd, gets to help us build a monster.
That's
Can
right.
employees participate?
What time, Matt?
Absolutely, absolutely. It'll be same time on Thursday, so we'll start at 9 p.m. Central,
Okay.
right here. on
Hey,
Twitch.
apologies to everybody for me dropping out. That's AT&T's bad, not mine.
We have a wonderful clip of you now, Danny.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
We do. So, all right, folks. We'll see y'all later. See you Thursday. Take care.
Nice.